Right, I'm going to factorize these expressions. Now all of these expressions have got something in common. If you look at these expressions, well, they've got something in common. They've all got an x squared term, they've got an x term, and number at the end. So these are what are called quadratics. So when you have recognized that it is a quadratic and you're factorizing, if you've recognized it's a quadratic and you happen to be factorizing, it will be double brackets. You'll have an x and x over here because you know x times x gives you the x squared. Now you need to think, what two numbers multiply together to give the 15, positive 15? What two numbers multiply together to give you 15, but when added together to give this 8? Well, it's going to be 3 times 5. 3 times 5 does give you 15, but does 3 add 5 give you the 8, the middle number? It does. So obviously it works, so you can put the 3 and 5, you can put the 3 and 5 in here, 3 and 5. If you want, you can write this the other way around if you like. It's the same thing. Right, so any one of those two answers will do. Right, once again, what two numbers multiply together to give you 21, but when added together to give you the 10? The number that's coming into my head right now is 3 and 7, because 3 times 7 is 21, but 3 add 7 does give you the 10. So it's a quadratic, so double brackets, and then you can put the 3 and 7 inside, or 7 and 3, all the way around if you want to. Right, all of these have positive numbers, fairly easy. Now when you've got negative numbers, you've got to be extra careful. So now, what two numbers multiply together to give you negative 21, but when added together to give this positive 4? The number that's coming into my head at this moment is minus 3 and 7. Minus 3 times 7, negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. Remember, negative always wins. When negative multiplies with a positive, you always get a negative outcome. But let's see if that works when you're adding them. Right, negative 3 at 7. Negative 3 at 7, think about the number line now. So when you're adding and taking away numbers, you think about the number line. So negative 3 at 7 does give you 4. So that's what we're going to use in our double brackets, the negative 3 and the 7. Or you can put them the other way around if you want to. Again, what two numbers multiply together to give you negative 20, but when added together to give you, well, you can put a 1 there to help you, to give you a 1. The number that comes into my head right now is negative 4 and 5. Let's check. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20, but is negative 4 add 5? Think about the number line. Negative 4 add 5 does give you 1. So that's what we're going to use now in our double brackets. Negative 4 and 5. So what two numbers now multiply together to give the last number, positive 15, but when added together gives you this negative 8. Well, what comes into my head is negative 3. I'm going to try negative 3, and I will try negative 5. Remember, if it doesn't work with this, then you're going to have to try other numbers. Try and find other numbers. So negative 3 times negative 5. Remember, two negatives multiplied together does give you a positive number, which is what we have here. So that is valid, that is allowed. But will that be allowed here? Let's check. -3 add -5. -3 add -5. Well, that plus and minus looks a bit strange. Normally what we do is we say minus wins here. So we have minus wins. Does that give you -8? Well, -3 on the number line, and you're taking away 5 going left. That will take you to -8. So we found our numbers. -3, -5. As I've said to you earlier on, I mean, I found these numbers pretty quickly, but if the numbers don't work out, then you might have to try something different. Like for example, with this one, had I done 7 times -3 does give me -21. But then if I'd done 7 add -3, would that give me, yes, that would also work. 7 plus and minus, what wins? Minus wins. 7 take away 3 is 4. But if it doesn't work out, you might have to try a different combination of numbers. Like with this one here, I could have done, for example, -2 times 10 to give me -20. But then does -2 add 10 give me 1? It doesn't. So those two numbers wouldn't work. So you keep on trying different numbers until it satisfies both the timesing part and the adding part. Sometimes you'll get it straight away, and sometimes you just have to carry on until you get the answers.